Hello and welcome to Mumbai to Manchester. This is Saurabh, and today I'm going to talk about Manchester United's summer transfer plans. Now, we know Ed Woodward is going to leave Manchester United by the end of the year. He has appointed Murtaugh and Dan Fletcher to play the director of football role at Manchester United. And they seem to be working closely with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and fulfilling some of his requirements as we go through the transfer window. This is Ed Woodward's last chance to make a splash before he bows out, and let's see how effective this team is going to be navigating Manchester United through a difficult transfer window. So our number one priority going into this transfer window was a right winger. We have been chasing Jadon Sancho for a number of years now, and we have finally brought him into our squad. I think he's going to be a fantastic addition, filling into that right wing position and swapping positions across the front three. He's going to add a lot of goals. He's going to add creativity. And I'm just excited to have him in the team. I'm sure you all are too. The next biggest priority for us this season is going to be a centre half. We need a strong partner to Harry Maguire who can rally the defense and really make this into a title-winning or title-challenging squad. We also need to prioritize a central midfielder who can play along with Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba. So we need to look at a long-term solution there, someone who can add that defensive steel next to these two creative players. And lastly, I think we need some competition for the right back position for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now, this is the least of the priority positions. I would be more than happy if we sign the top three positions with really top class, world class players. And if we ignore the right back for this season, I think we should still be okay. Obviously, we should look to use some of the youth backups, Amad Diallo, Brandon Williams, Garner, Anthony Elanga, Shoretire, Mejibri, Ethan Laird. I think these are some players who need some game time, at least in the Carabao Cup games or in some of the lesser games next season. And I'm hoping we start bringing in some of the youth stars next season as well. One key thing that is going to really drive how Manchester United's window is going to go is whether Paul Pogba stays or whether he is going to go either this summer or for free next summer. I think that is one key decision that will decide whether we need to buy another midfielder who can add some creativity, playing in the middle or the midfield two or a midfield pivot. Apart from that, I think there are several other decisions. I think the goalkeeper decision is critical. Do we keep both De Gea and Henderson? Can we afford to keep both De Gea and Henderson on very high salaries? And if one of them go, should we look for a substitute? I know we have already brought in Tom Heaton, but he's almost brought in as a Romero replacement as a number 3 and might not be as a number 2. We need to see if we need to upgrade on Anthony Martial. I personally would give him one more season to see if he can add goals, assists to his game. If he can stay fit through the season. I think the season before he was phenomenal for us, scoring 20 plus goals across all competition. So there is potential. And I think this is the season for him to prove his potential with all the attacking talent playing behind him. There are rumors on Donny van der Beek if he is looking to make a move. I think he will stay. It's just been less than a year since he has joined us. I think he will have a part to play this season. We'll have to make some decisions on cutting ties with aging players like Matic and Mata soon. And we need to make a decision on some of the injury-prone players. I know Eric Bailly has signed a new contract with Manchester United, but even a couple of days after he signed this contract, there were quotes from him saying that he might still leave if he doesn't get first-team football. And fair enough, he should be looking for more if he's not going to be a part of the plans. And Phil Jones he's been on our books forever. I think we need to move on and take whatever cash we get for him. So now let's look at some of the spend trends. So we have tried to plot the next spend in the post-Ferguson era for Manchester United. Now, if you look at this, there seems to be a pattern where every alternate year we have 100 million plus spend, followed by a dip every year or so. So now, and again, all of these numbers are in £1 million. and all of these are net spend. Last year was particularly poor, where we did not make much inroads and where we did not add much to the quality, relying on deadline day transfers. I think we can expect to spend at least the average across all of these, which is around 90 million pounds. I expect this number to be more in the 120 million pound range. So even after spending 75 million on Sancho, we should still have about 40 to 50 million left in the tank. Now, to add to this, we do have player sales that will get in some more money. Now, Manchester United will need to, and the new recruitment structure will need to show their smarts in this transfer window. I think with Sancho, I think it's clear that we want to secure our priority targets, and I think this is a very, very good start to the transfer window. We should look at player plus cash deals. We have a lot of players on our books, Diogo Dalot, Pereira, Lingard, who can be used in player plus cash deals. And finally, we should be smart about going after free agents and expiring contracts. We have already seen Cavani make a good impact without having to pay a single dime to any other club. He was a free agent. We should look to capitalize on some of the expiring contracts and free agents. I think this is going to be the trend going forward, because the transfer valuations over the years have increased so high. I think more and more players would look to run down their contracts and look to move on a free transfer or get a move on the cheap. So we should be proactive and start monitoring players, quality world-class players whose contracts are expiring. Now, as I said, Jesse Lingard, valued anywhere between 20 to 30 million pounds. There is talk of potential swap with Declan Rice. I personally think this is going to be too expensive for United to go through, and Declan Rice might not be the right player for United as well. But that's one option out there. Andreas Pereira, he has a 27 million option to buy with Lazio. I don't think they will have the cash to pay 27 million, but I think we can still get around 10 to 15 million for Andreas Pereira. He's still a decent player. If we do a swap with our player plus cash swap, I think Milinkovic-Savic has been pursued by United for ages now, and he can be a good option for a player plus cash deal, especially if Pogba was to leave. Diogo Dalot, he has played some games for AC Milan, and it looks like they want to retain him, but I don't think we'll get more than 10 to 12 million pounds for him. One option is Frank Kessie, whose contract expires in a year, who's really good for them, full of running, plays anywhere between the number 8 to number 10 role. I think he can be a good addition to the squad. We often forget we still have Tahith Chong in the books. I think he had a couple of loan spells with Wolfsburg and Club Brugge last season. I think we should cut ties with him. I don't think he's going to cut it with Manchester United, and we should take whatever money we get for him. Same for Phil Jones. One call out is he's valued at 5 million pounds based on transfer market. We might not get that much for him. All in all, I think we can raise about 50 million if we sell these players, and that can be added to our funds to fill the 4 positions that we had outlined. The big question is whether Paul Pogba stays. I think if we can swap Paul Pogba with Rafael Varane at no additional cost, or if Manchester United get some bucks in exchange, I think that'll be a good deal for everyone. And we'll get rid of a player who doesn't want to be at the club. We'll get a world-class player in a position that we need, and the net cash impact is not really relevant for me. I mean, the overall valuation for Pogba should be higher than Varane, but I wouldn't be disappointed if it's a straight swap. Eric Bailly has signed a contract recently, but he did come out in a press conference and say that if he does not see himself as being first choice for United, he might still look to leave. And I think that would be a good decision for him. I think with Manchester United chasing Pau Torres, a swap going back to his old club Villarreal might work in everyone's favor. So that's a player plus cash option that we have. So all in all, we can raise anywhere between 50 to 125 million on top of the existing budget that we have. So we should have enough cash, or we should have, or we should make enough cash by selling players and raise enough money to make the 4 or 5 signings that we really need this summer. Now let's look at some options. So we're going to look at some long-term targets, so priority targets that we've had. We look at some players whose contracts are expiring in a year's time, and then lastly we'll look at free agents. So freebies like Cavani and Ibrahimovic, which Manchester United have signed in the past, who have given good results. Even though short term, we should fill some positions which are not priority with some short-term free agents as well. So let's look at the midfield options first. So Declan Rice, Milinkovic-Savic, Saul Niguez, Llorente, I think these have been names consistently linked with Manchester United for the last 2 to 3 years, and maybe more. So Milinkovic-Savic was a Jose Mourinho target, and Manchester United seem to be interested in him for a while now. If Pogba leaves, he can be a good option. We have heard Llorente very often, especially even in the January transfer window. We were looking to get some midfield options, and Llorente's name was mentioned. So he has been a long-term target. Saul Niguez apparently is available for cheap, and Declan Rice, we all know. So these are some long-term targets that, although they might be expensive, we should still pursue. Then there are a lot of very high quality options available in that expiring contracts bucket. So Kamavinga is an 18-year-old who can slot in perfectly well next to Paul Pogba, or even replace Paul Pogba if we needed to in the future. I think he's a smashing talent. I think there are a lot of parallels drawn with Jude Bellingham on how he has added immense value to Borussia Dortmund, and I think that is going to be whoever is going to get Kamavinga is going to get a great player this summer. Leon Goretzka has been mentioned. He might be fishing for a bigger, better contract at Munich, but that is a very good option. Again, a good passer of the ball. He has a shot on him, and a potentially great replacement for Paul Pogba in the future, or someone who can be creative and still add that steal in the midfield. Dennis Zakaria, I know, has been a long-term Manchester City target. And I think he was meant to be Fernandinho's successor. If he can stay fit, and he has had fitness issues, he has only played a couple of games last season, and he has even been injured through the Euros. But if he can regain his fitness, I think he can be a value option that we should look for. Again, Tolisso from Bayern Munich is on an expiring contract. He's a decent option to look at as well. And as I discussed previously, I think Kessie is an exceptional talent from AC Milan, relatively young, can add great value to our team. A punt at the end, a free agent, if we can sign someone like a Lundstram on a deadline day, just like Cavani, I wouldn't be too disappointed. He shouldn't be the go-to target by any stretch of imagination. If we try everything else, if we don't get the right players that we are going to target, then going for free agents is not bad at all, especially at the fag end of the transfer window. When we look at bolstering our defense, I think these 3 names have been mentioned by the likes of Fabrizio Romano. I think Pau Torres, we know, has a release clause, has been on United's radar for a while. Christian Romero from Atlanta, I think there's something in it, especially with when Amad Diallo came to United from Atlanta. I think there seems to be a more long-term approach to build a partnership with Atlanta on trading players. And Romero seems to be the right player profile for us. Jules Koundé, I'm a bit skeptical on him, but again, we know that he's going to be available for a cut price cost, and that might be better than what we have right now. The obvious centre-back choice is Rafael Varane. A year remaining on his contract, he is my priority for sure. But we'll only see if he's only negotiating with Manchester United to get a better deal with Real Madrid. Another German centre back, Ginter, who's from, I think, Mönchengladbach. He started for Germany in a back three. I think again, if we wanted to get a player on the cheap, I think we should look at some options here. There are two terrific options in that short-term aging stars, but can add give us a year or two. Someone in the Cavani or Ibrahimovic mold who can fit amazingly well next to Maguire. I think both Ramos and Boateng have won everything that there is to win in the game, and they would. These are world-class free agents available out there. So I wouldn't be too disappointed if we get any of these targets. So my priority would be Varane, Romero, Torres, Ramos, and Boateng. But again, all good options. I'd be extremely disappointed if we go through the entire summer without signing any one of these. I think we need to sign a central defender. Now, for right back, Trippier and Aarons have been linked with United for a while now. Trippier, when he went to Tottenham, was linked to United. He continues to be linked to United every couple of years. Max Aarons was on our shortlist of 400 odd right backs when we signed Aaron Bissaka, and he's the more attacking option. I think these two are long-term targets that we should look at. Trippier, if Atletico Madrid stick to their 40 million evaluation, I don't think it's going to be worth it. We should look at other options. There are players whose contracts are expiring in a year. So Dani Carvajal at Real Madrid, a decent player. He has played lesser number of games in the last couple of seasons, but he's still 29. Is still very solid going forward. Good cross on him, relatively good defensively. And his one thing is especially if we get to Varane and Carvajal or Ramos and Carvajal on the right hand side, they can form a good partnership. So that's a good option to keep an eye out on. Calabria from AC Milan has kept Diogo Dalot out of their starting lineup, occupying the right hand side or at times the left back spot as well. So he's a good option. Sergi Roberto from Barcelona is expiring contract. I wouldn't count on Aurier much, but I just listed him because he's an established Premier League player whose contract is expiring. Haisaj is an interesting name. He was at one point talented attacking left back / right back who's available on free. He's still about 27, 28 from Napoli. I think if we get him for a fee, I wouldn't complain. Then if we go through, so now that we've added Sancho, if we at least get one of these midfielders, if we at least get one of these centre backs and right backs, I would, and if we have budget to spare, I would still look at some opportunistic signings. I know Grealish and Haaland probably won't fit our budget. Well, I know for sure that they won't fit our budget, but if by any circumstance, player plus cash deal, or if United want to go all out and match a bid that gets accepted and they want to swoop in on these two players, I think these two would go into any starting lineup in the world. I think these two are amazing players. These two will be opportunistic signings. I think very unlikely, but just wanted to put it out there. I think the next bracket is slightly more interesting. I think these are opportunistic signings, so something that we can look at after we have done all our business for our priority positions. And these would be relatively cheap because they only have a year left on their contract. I think Isco is a good option, a creative midfielder, can play in from the left, can go in from the right, can be a good addition of the bench, and again will bring in a lot of experience. United have been linked with Dybala. He was close to signing as a swap deal with Lukaku, so we have shown interest in the past. I'm not sure if that's going to carry through. Ronaldo, as ever, continues to be linked with United, and again, if he's after doing all the priority signings, if he's a bonus signing, I'd welcome Ronaldo back. Mbappe, again, added him here next to Haaland because again he has just a year left on his contract. Real Madrid want to go all out for him, but if it's an achievable target, even if we have to break the bank and give him what he needs, I think he's still going to be a great signing for whoever signs him. I've put Danny Ings on there because again, if we Cavani is still a year older. He is still injury prone. So is Martial. So if we need more cover in the striker position, he won't be the worst signing ever. Obviously, an ex-Liverpool player, and not gunning for him, but if we get him, I won't be disappointed. And finally, Josh King is a free agent. It's surprising that only a year or year and a half before, when we signed Igalo in January, Josh King was labeled or priced at £50 million, and he's available for free right now. He didn't play much for Everton last season, but again, if he's the final signing that we make on deadline day, or is made for free and doesn't dent the rest of the transfer budget or dealings, I think good option to go for. Boré is an interesting signing. I think River played forward. Plays consistently for Colombia. He's a 25-year-old available for free, and worth the punt. So these were some of the options. I sincerely hope that you've liked the video and the research done so far. We'll continue to provide our insights and videos as we go through the transfer window. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you. Bye.